Governor for East Sepik.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And I thank the government and the chairman of the CLRC for bringing this question to the floor. I just have some issues which I thought should be expressed so that we could better understand what it is we're dealing with. The first thing is that I don't feel our people are qualified to be making adjustments to the system. And I felt that, of course, we understand there are problems, but most people don't understand the problems, Mr. Speaker. By my name sick, na pemsinda na diagnose memiet. And by go sick na doctor by sekimem na by tokimem wanem something and problem. We have a problem with our system of government. And the immediate jump that the CLRC made was that it is because of instability that Olga the Narpla system is bagrap, Narpla patlo system. And I disagree with that, Mr. Speaker. Simply because the first assertion by the Honorable Chairman is that because long instability below government, you miss Prime Minister close to, na all plans below government implement. Now, he provided no data to substantiate that argument. Zero data, no evidence whatsoever. Let's look at the evidence. From 2002 to 2026, our closest friend and neighbor, Australia, had 7 prime ministers. Indonesia had 4 presidents. New Zealand had 6 prime ministers. In that same period, Papua New Guinea had 3 prime ministers. So, where is the instability, Mr. Speaker? Is it political instability? Is it policy instability? Or is it system instability? And come up no way. So I come back to the point. Our people are not qualified to make that judgment. If anything, just like as the Honorable Karangakua said, if anything, we should be bringing people who are experts on government to assess our system and tell us where the problem is, diagnose it. For instance, Mr. Speaker, time you look on one plus system, what constitutes a system? I didn't see that in the report. And I respect that there were many learned people who worked on the document, but nobody looked at the system to identify where the weakness was in the system, Mr. Speaker. In a system, there are several key elements. Number one is the input. Is the problem money? Is the problem knowledge? We never looked at that element in the report. Is, the second key element of a system are the processes, the mechanisms that we have. And some of them were mentioned. You may got national government, you may got provincial government, now people are already saying you may got DDA government, now you may got LLG. And then we have a public service. They manage the processes that we do. We have members of parliament who are actually implementers. All of you here are implementers. You can't deny that. You plus a sit down no DDA na passing resolution na. You plus a selecting contractor na. You plus a going to make him work. That's implementation. We are all doing that just about. Outputs. Once you put in money or something go inside. What are the outputs we are after? And this is where I disagree with the method that the CLRC used. Only going to ask him all people, low quality, low display output. The results. Yes, the results are not there. And that's why I say they are not qualified to make a judgment on that system. Narpla, key element below system and feedback. What is feedback, Mr. Deputy Speaker? Monitoring and evaluation. This country has not conducted any monitoring and evaluation, in my knowledge, at least for the last 30 years. Nogat true. You may put in money, put in more something, go say that no months are going to shake him. I have debated this on the floor, Mr. Speaker, many times. So feedback system belong. Government belong you, no work. It's never even been operationalized. No government man, me talk plenty time about this law. One plan national government department should come to East Sepik, should go to Medeng, should go to West Sepik, at least once a year or 2 times a year na sekim. Money you plug in the district here. Only go walk in the sala walk or not. Any production the sala result or not. Money you plug in the province here. Any current kai or not. It has never been done, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Failure start lahat. Now you blaming political instability start. Control. Again, another key element of any system. Are the control mechanisms working? Is ombudsman working? The key point raised by the Honorable Kerengakua. Is the justice system working? Is ICAC working? FASU identified 18,000 transactions, over 30 billion kina remitted from this country. Not one single one prosecuted, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Because no got control of system here. There's no control mechanisms only no work, policy no work. I could go on, Mr. Speaker, but my point is, if there's a problem in the system, we need people who are familiar with that system. Kisi mechanic, you like fixing car. Unless you are a qualified mechanic, you don't have lost him car. You have to hire a mechanic to do it. Me play no got me play member yet, like sit down, give him ting. Me play go down, collect him ting, blow man no place na me play ting was no got. That's the solution. Respectfully, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I submit that it's not. Chairman Emi Togolsem, time you got government instability, policy implemented by the public servants. Now, at the last budget, I want to quote in terms of the MTDP 3 and the MTDP 4, and this is from planning. First Assistant Secretary for Macro Planning Division, Maria Louise Wow, indicated that millions of kina had been wasted because all of the district and provincial plans were not aligned to the MTDP. And me quote him straight, First Assistant Secretary of Planning. Secretary of Planning, Colonel Samuel, emphasized that for MTDP 4 to be effective, there must be a complete overhaul of how development plans are made and implemented, moving away from just having documents on paper, because, let me talk long, MTDP 3, 80% of the budget is not spent on MTDP priorities. I am quoting the Secretary for Planning here. Walkman blow government. No government mention inside here of political instability, Mr. Speaker. I want to come back to one of my other pet favorites, and the Honorable Pukatemu. Let me throw my hat talk on top of this player. Decentralization. I have wondered for a long time, because we have had autonomy in Bougainville for some time. And I have wondered, me yet or Liang Plablomi Long Sepik, na planti haplo Papua New Guinea, only interest of this ting you may call him autonomy. And I keep looking at Bougainville. And I wonder, I see the members of Bougainville in here, they enjoy an autonomous government, supposedly. But the members of Bougainville are in here, arguing for roads, bridges, and classrooms, just like the rest of us. So I'm asking myself, what is that government oligarch of Bougainville if arguing for the same things that they're arguing for? Surely, with autonomy, they should be doing something different to us. Let me know whether you will not leaders is a scaly monogat, but Mr. Sinan, Mr. Ting. So, in essence, one kind of system you may like try of Bougainville where me say working argument too long. Greater autonomy for all provinces, not just Bougainville. But then I look at Bougainville, and I'm asking myself, we have had an experiment with autonomy with Bougainville. Do we know the results of that? Have we got any feedback from the Bougainvilleans themselves or their own MPs on this floor? Or from the Honorable President Natim Blongem Lahar? Are we even interested to figure out if this is something that may work or not? And if it is working, are there lessons we can get from it? If it isn't working, what can we do to fix it? So I come back to this entire discussion by the CLRC. And it is my argument, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that the questions are wrong. And because the questions are fixed, the CLRC could not deviate and look at the real key problems. One am stretem aswa. Suaem stop lowe, Sikem stop lowe. Is it the politics? And I had the Prime Minister. And we talk also, he has been really good at managing the politics. That's why government is that. That is true. The Honorable Peter O'Neill was also very good at managing politics. And prior to that, the National Alliance government. Now you may look in here. Time government reform, Garamanda move to government, really line solve start opposition. And then we come to the issue of instability. Is the instability being created by the opposition? Nothing. The instability is actually created within the government ranks. So you may current problem of government ranks, now you may kiss him come, now you may like solve him by changing the system. Me don't think that's like a straight. And I like the argument by the member for Sinasena Yongomul. Now you may look in. We cannot deny that there is money moving in our political system. We cannot deny it. But when you move to another system, there's like impact of money and by big law legally. You may not sabe. So, I would like for us to take another look at the report before we suggest a wholesale change to the system. Deputy Speaker, you should ask him, one and problem of this system. Me yet meeting of him, Mr. Deputy Speaker. If we fix up the monitoring and evaluation, if this year, some blah blah this national departments here, come no province Blomina check him, please. You know, the other day, me go na visiting one plus school where me play putting water supply long St. Maslin. And the headmaster came up to me and said, Governor, this la 4-in-1 classroom here, contractor kisi money na kam na, put him cement na, and take off. Him no come na finish him, and that was last September. And I have to ring everybody to find out who said give him this la contract, who was the contractor. Now how come? Trangu, all picking ni Blomelo St. Maslin. They cannot access this classroom because somebody got paid and took off. Now, I'm sure that is happening in other parts of my province, and I'm sure that's happening in your districts and provinces as well. The system is so weak that it doesn't go down and check. And when the governor turns up, now governor looking at problem now, governor ring him old man. That cannot be my job. I shouldn't be the one doing the M&E to find out if the money work or not. The system should be doing that. Now suppose system will the province in a working. Someone from Port Moresby should follow the money and come down. Come the province na come check him go na final and talk no at only no working some district. This is not being done correctly. We have to get the feedback and close the loop. We haven't been doing that. So all of these things fall back on people member. And to fix it, we want to secure this political stability. And somehow that miraculously fixes everything. I don't think so. I think that if we just deal with the head and we don't deal with the accountability mechanisms, then the accountability issues and challenges still remain. All we are doing is doing a superficial change on the top, that's all. And by non work. So me ask him online, no government or minister, plus prime minister, look at, you've got how many ministers now? 38 ministers? In amongst all of that and the departments and everything else, there should be an inspection group from Port Moresby. Budget, you miss a structure in here. It's Waigani heavy. If you divided the budget up and looked at how much is going to the provinces and how much is staying in Waigani, by looking more some legally number go along all province na big plans start lo Waigani. Draining the swamp should also include shifting a lot of those resources down to the provincial governments. And I make that argument again. Calm down, not check it. Check all of us. These are public funds, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Nobody blow me. Somebody from Port Moresby should have the authority to come down and do an inspection. Yumi be kam na struggle long, kisim approval long, passing budget blow yumi. Taso no bien or man come down and check him implementation. No got man sakat. And then we get letters from agencies here saying, submit him acquittal report lo iplaka. You don't know whether I'm true acquittal report or German acquittal report, mi plasa karim kan na put him because no got man sagoda na seki. Years ago, we were doing a job up in Southern Highlands. I was with the PM's department at the time, Mr. Speaker, as an advisor. And I remember, all in the Southern Highlands come now, talk all same. Every year, we plus exhibit same photo, na write same report, then plus a karim go and give no line must be. Now some must na tick, 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 tick. I heard this from the public servants in Southern Highlands in 2009. Me suspect was a line lo sipik tu all working one kind of stuff. Because nobody comes and checks us. Me feel the same. If you started sending people down to check if work is actually being done, you are going to fix a large amount of our implementation problems. People are going to start spending money on the things that actually make a difference to the lives of our people. But because we are not doing that, they know that nobody is going to check. Only go German are working on half classroom, not take off. They take the money and they take off. Because they know nobody's going to check. So one time, Moldespla, Mr. Deputy Speaker, thank you long. You all Parliament, you all Harim, all colleague leaders, but especially me appeal go long government, I come back long. Chairman, take another look at the questions and make sure that we are identifying what is the core issue and not just trying to effect a superficial change and the fundamental issues remain the same. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.